Hello, thank you for joining us for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. I'm one of the hosts, Gregory Barrett, and with me is my lovely wife, Christine.
Hi.
And here's the star of our show, Fluffy Kitty. There to maybe face the camera there. There we go.
What happened? I was asleep.
So this is a show, it's not about cats. This is a show where we talk all things in pop culture that we love. New and old movies, TV, streaming shows, different types of books, as well as trailers. If you enjoy this, you can always give us the thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And you can subscribe. We put up more content here every week. Breaking down this episode, we're going to do our Netflix June picks. We're going to do our June movie picks. I'm going to be reviewing the movie Kandahar, which I saw yesterday. We're going back into the DCEU. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah.
We're reviewing Shazam, and then we're going to talk about...
A good one.
Yes, and we're going to talk about Mustache-gate, which we mentioned before.
Talked about it. I think we already talked about it. Let's just not talk about it anymore.
Then we're going to be doing some Star Trek. We're going to be doing Harry Potter. More nap time at Hogwarts. We're watching Harry Potter 6? Or is it Harry Potter 6? No, it's Harry Potter 7, Force Awakens. I'm going to be reviewing Barry, Season 4, Episode 7. I'm going to review the final 2 episodes, 6 and 7, for the miniseries Love Again. We're going to talk briefly about Mulligan on Netflix and White House Plumbers on HBO. We'll both talk about that. And Christine's going to be reviewing An Accidental Death by Peter Grainger, I believe it is. And then we'll have some comments at the end. So let's get right into it. Netflix released just 2 days ago their June preview trailer. So we just watched it and picked out a few things. What are you looking forward to in June on Netflix, dear?
I guess I gotta watch more Manifest. I can't believe that show is another season.
What?
That show is like
Is it a bad show?
Me. Well, it just is like these people running around town all the time, and like they're holding up the whole world on their shoulders.
What season is it?
This is going to be season 5 now, I think.
5?
I think that's what he said, or season 4. I don't know. I've watched a lot of it, and the last season though, I don't know if I even finished it because it was getting really irritating to me.
Yeah.
It's just a lot, but I want to know why this has all happened. So I suppose I'll have to watch it.
Okay, you're looking forward to Manifest Season 4. I'm looking forward to a documentary. It's called Arnold. Comes out on June 7th.
Okay.
Looking forward to
Arnold.
Yeah, about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his career. That could be pretty interesting. So hopefully it's, good. Sometimes their documentaries are really good, and sometimes they're really bad. Like that Pepsi one, that was a letdown for us. But their Meltdown 3 Mile Island was great. I really enjoyed that. You got anything else you're looking forward to on Netflix?
I'm trying to think of... Never Have I Ever has another season out. I have watched Never. I enjoyed it. I watched up to this point.
Is this season 2? No.
This must be season 5 or 6. I don't know. There's a lot of seasons of it I watched. I really enjoyed it. It's fun. It's a fun show. So that's coming. Girls 5 Ever season 2. That I've already seen that one. I think I saw that on Showcase. I think I've seen season 2. Yeah, I totally recommend getting into Girls 5 Ever. It's funny. What else was there? There was a couple of shows that I hadn't watched, and they're on season 6, and I never heard of them before. What was it called? Midnight or Black
Mirror?
Mirror? Yeah, I don't know what that
seemed like. I thought you were watching the show. It seemed like your kind of show.
It did. So I might check it out. I've never watched it. Well, season 6 is coming out, I guess.
There was caught up.
A show that we never watched, The Witcher. You watched it a little bit, and it wasn't.
I think I watched the first episode, and then I was like, this isn't for me. It has lots of fans out there, so hopefully if people are looking forward to it.
Right, most of the shows are already out, and this is like season 2 or 3 or 6 or something like that.
We're getting another comedy special. This one's from Amy Schumer. I'll check that out.
There's also another one.
She's had funny stuff on there before.
It's about 3 guys, and they had an interesting name on it. I never heard of it before. I don't know who the 3 comedians were. But there was these 3 guys, and they had like a rug on the stage. Did you see that? Did you catch
No,
it?
I
can't
don't
remember
know
what it was
you're
called.
talking about.
Another comedy special, anyway, with 3 guys. And I can't remember the name of it because it had a really different name. Anyway.
Extraction 2, which we just
we
watched the
talked
trailer
about that.
for. That comes out June 16th.
Right. Some movies are
I'm looking
coming
forward
out.
to that.
June, they're going to put on Netflix, I guess. So that's good because I do want to watch it again before I watch the new one.
I don't.
I do. There was another movie as well that they were bringing to Netflix that we've already seen. I can't recall now which one it was.
That's not great
Anyway,
content
well,
there,
I'm looking at you, see if you remember. There was a lot of stuff.
We got Manifest Season 4, Arnold coming, which I know is coming June 7th. You weren't looking forward to a new season for Never Have I Ever.
Yeah.
And Girls 5 Ever. Well, you said you already watched it.
I would watch it again.
I'm going to watch the new comedy special with Amy Schumer. It's coming out on June 13th.
There was another comedy that was drawn in kind of the fashion of like American Dad or something. There was that one. I'm not familiar with that one either. And it was season 2 of that.
And I'm going to watch Extraction 2 on June 16th. So, yeah. A few things coming out on Netflix. I mean, some of it's going to be... the rest just didn't appeal to me.
Well, there was like crime stuff as well. And some I didn't quite understand. There was a car... Oh, Is It Cake? Is It Cake? That one's really fun. If you like cooking shows, it's just fun show. Is It Cake? I watched season 1 with my mom and we really enjoyed it. It's basically contestants. Yeah, this is season 2 now. Contestants are given objects and they have to make a cake that looks just like the objects, and then the judge has to pick which one is the real object and which one is the cake. Right? And half the time you get it wrong. And then even the contestants, when they pick what they're going to win, they have to pick if it's money or is it a cake. And the bag of money can be a bag of cake with money or a bag of real money. And it's very deceiving. It's a fun show. So there's another season of that coming out. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was really fun. Yeah,
it sounds like it's fun. I've never seen it. However, so that's a lot of things that we're looking forward to on Netflix. You hear our thoughts. Let us know. Is there anything on Netflix you're looking forward to? Any of the ones we mentioned? Or any of the other ones that we didn't? I know Witcher has a lot of fans out there. And there's a bunch of other shows coming out, like Season 5, Season 6.
Lots of seasons. I think Witcher is Season 3.
People are enjoying those shows.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to move on to our June movie picks. So, last month... So just to say, this is what we're looking forward to the most.
This is a big month.
Oh, yeah. June is probably the most stacked month that we've had since before the pandemic.
Yeah. Lots of movies are coming out.
So first we're getting The Boogeyman, which is a 20th Century Studio. So this is being distributed by Disney. So brought to you by Disney.
It's scary. Don't be deceived. It's not Haunted Mansion.
Same weekend we're getting Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Right. You're really looking forward to that.
Yep.
I mean, I'll probably watch it because I have to. Just being married to you, it's in like the contract. I have to watch it. We're not
discussing these right now. The next weekend we're getting Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Not gonna watch that.
Following weekend we're getting Elemental from Pixar.
No.
And the same weekend, we're getting The Flash
from
Warner Brothers. Then we're getting Asteroid City.
I liked his movies, so I'm going to see that.
Wes Anderson. I'm not a big Wes Anderson fan myself.
I think they're fun.
No Hard Feelings the same weekend.
Which one is No Hard Feelings?
That is the Jennifer Lawrence comedy.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure about that.
That one doesn't really appeal to me at all. I'll probably see it. Although, because I try to see everything. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is what we're getting at the end of the month. So this is a stacked month.
Go to see that one.
Yeah.
Most of these I want to see.
Which of those, if you had to pick one, if you could only see one, which one would it be?
Indiana Jones. And then The Flash.
I'm probably saying Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse because the first one was so good.
I mean, I liked it, but it's not my bag. It's your bag.
And with the initial reviews are out for it, and people are saying it's really good.
Okay.
So reviews are great. Which one's going to make the most money out of that? It's not going to be Spider-Man. It's not going to be The Boogeyman.
Elemental.
It's not going to be Transformers because I don't think so.
No. It might be Elemental or The Flash. I don't know.
It'd have to be really good for like parents
Some of those are really good.
Okay. It's not going to be Asteroid City. It's
No,
not going to be No Hard Feelings.
They don't make that much money, I don't think. But
so
I like
it comes
those
down
movies.
to, is it going to be Elemental, The Flash, or Indiana Jones? And it all depends on if they're good.
Well, the Jennifer Lawrence one might not have cost that much to make.
Critic reviews are out for Indiana Jones.
Yeah?
And they're mixed.
Oh, shoot. I just don't know. Is this going to be a good one or not? It's hard to tell. There's a lot in it.
What do you think will make the most money there?
I think Indiana Jones. Because it's a franchise everyone's going to watch.
Hold on a second. You might change your answer as soon as you get the critic score. 51% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes as of right now.
They've seen it already?
Yeah, it was premiered in Cannes. Cannes Film Festival. Now, a lot of the reports, so that means 51% of critics said something nice about it, but 49% didn't.
Kind of like that Crystal Skull one.
They're not saying it's like that. They're saying the reviews, when you read them, they're saying it's just same old, same old. So they're saying nothing new. Yeah. So it could be audiences might give it 100%. We don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna like it. I just get that feeling.
Even with the bad taste from Crystal Skull left over?
Yeah, I still enjoyed the concept. Okay. I still enjoyed it. I still think it's got a lot more going for it than many other films.
So in terms of what you want to see the most, you're going with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and you think it's Flash is right up there second.
And you think Indiana Jones is going to make the most money?
I think so, because the DC people aren't very good at this stuff.
Okay.
So they haven't. I think I'm really looking forward to the Flash though, but I'm just thinking the DC people are not good at making money off movies.
The one I think is going to make the most money, the one I'm looking forward to most, as I said, is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and that first one was so good. And these guys, Lord and Miller, I've been following their career since 2003, and a lot of the stuff they do, I love it. So, but what do I think is going to make the most money? People are saying The Flash is really good, so I'm going to go with The Flash because it's Andy Muschietti's movie, and he's a really good director.
But the public doesn't know.
And exactly. No one knows that, but he makes good movies. And if this movie is as good as they're saying it is, it could be, people will go and see it, and it'll be a big win for Warner Brothers and DC. I mean, because most people don't know about the Ezra Miller scandal.
Yes, but the problem is, in order to enjoy this movie properly, you have to know what is the past that he's now scrambled. And it gets confusing, and people have not seen all these other movies.
You don't have to see these movies.
Well, in Flashpoint, you kind of need to know to have the best impact.
Flashpoint is a self-contained story in the comics. I mean,
if you don't know
you can buy the trade.
What the past was already, how are you going to enjoy the fact that it's now changed?
No, exactly. You don't need to know what was in the past to say. You watch this and it shows in the trailer. It's updated. Anyway, that's your opinion. I think if that movie is as good as they're saying, and it's got all those appearances, and apparently there's in the news now, someone spoiled a major cameo, and I haven't read it, so don't spoil it for me. But I think that could end up being big. And with Indiana Jones 5, not everyone's going to sit down with their kids and watch the old ones. And so there's going to be younger generations that don't know this.
This is probably going to be the last one.
With Harrison Ford. I think they'll make more afterwards, but it might take a bit. However, I'm going to go with The Flash to make the most money. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if it's going to be biggest movie of the year.
I just think those DC people don't know what they're doing, so I don't really trust them at this point.
But this is Andy Muschietti, and he makes good movies.
It was a really good movie. It didn't make any money. I don't think they know what they're doing.
The Flash hasn't come out yet. What are you talking about?
Not The Flash, sorry. The Shazam.
Because it's an unknown character.
Well, I don't know.
The Flash is a very well-known character from the CW shows. Okay?
In the general public, it's not, though. In the general public, it's not. They already saw the show. Where's Grant Gustin? Why is this other guy playing him?
It's got two different Batmen in it.
Listen, Grant Gustin was very likable.
It's the return of Michael Keaton. People want to see Michael Keaton come back. Newer fans want to see Ben Affleck. People want to see The Flash. People want to see Supergirl. I'm probably wrong, but I think that's my bet. I think he'll make more than Indiana Jones 5.
They're gonna say, where's Grant Gustin? Why is this a-hole not him? And why isn't it Grant Gustin? That's what I think. Because they're going from a very likable guy to a very unlikable guy.
If it's a good movie, okay, winning cures everything. Now, he's not going to get to continue being the Flash. Okay, he's out.
He's going to be doing it from his jail cell.
Okay, yeah, Ezra Miller's sitting around waiting for his court dates, but we don't need to get into that nonsense.
No, but
if this movie is good, and all accounts say that it is, and Andy Muschietti knows how to make movies, not that James Mangold, who directs Indy 5, doesn't know. He's a really good director as well, but I'm putting my bet on that.
Okay.
Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What are you most looking forward to in June? Maybe you're looking forward to The Boogeyman, because some people are really big into horror, and the rest they don't care.
Scary. And that's therapist in the beginning of the trailer should be fired. That is terrifying.
And that's being brought to you by Disney. Okay? Because they're distributing it.
Good for you, Disney.
Maybe someone's looking forward to Asteroid City or the Jennifer Lawrence comedy, No Hard Feelings.
I love the look of Asteroid City. I love the aesthetic of his films. It's really enjoyable. I enjoy that. Okay.
Let us know your thoughts of what you're looking forward to, or if you have a different opinion than us on what you think is going to make the most money, leave a comment down below. Now we're going to go into a review. Okay. Yesterday I saw Kandahar.
Right, I had not even heard of it. But I don't know everything that's going on, so what do I know?
Well, I had seen trailers for it.
Oh, this is Gerard Butler movie. Yeah. Right. You had said there's a Gerard Butler movie coming out.
If you're interested in generic Gerard Butler movies where it's just lots of generic action, this one's in the desert.
Sounds like Extraction. Similar to Extraction?
No. So this movie currently has a 44% Rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 78% audience score. So audiences that are going to see this, if this is your thing, you'll probably enjoy it. Yeah. There's not a lot of action in it.
Oh. Well, what is it about then? There's no action in it.
You know, I mean, I'm going to spoil this. I'm going to spoil this anyway because there's nothing really to spoil. It's just generic action and they're going to Kandahar, right? So the movie starts off there in Iran. Gerard Butler's there. He's causing problems in Iran, you know, because the Iranian regime...
It's not a good idea to cause problems in Iran. That usually ends up with a beheading.
Yeah, but he gets out because he's an agent who's been working in the Middle East, this, 6.5-foot tall Scottish guy. Because he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. So he's been in there for the last, 20 years since the U.S. invaded Iraq. Or since Afghanistan was invaded.
Oh.
So he's been doing it this whole time. His wife's leaving him because he's always on mission there instead of at home. And he's not going to get to see his daughter and...
The story's kind of doubtful already. I don't think a very giant Scottish guy could go around that area and not be seen.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So he's causing problems there. And then there's stuff. Pakistan gets involved. Iran's chasing him. Everyone's after him. And they're in Afghanistan because he gets sent back for another mission because the money's so good and he's got to do it for his daughter, right? It's all about for his kids, but he's going to miss her graduation, so he's got to get this mission done so then he can go to her graduation, or he could just go back to London instead. But anyway, he's got to do this other mission.
Is he like a missionary? He's like you hire him as
he's a mercenary contractor.
I was going to say missionary, not a missionary.
So he's being contracted essentially by the CIA to go do these missions.
So he's in intelligence, not in as a mercenary. Okay.
Yeah. So he has to go do this mission in Afghanistan. And they send him with a translator, and the translator's only going because he wants to get his daughter back, who's been taken captive by the Taliban. And the Taliban's out there and ISIS there. Everyone's after them. I'm like, okay, sure. But at the end of the day, it's really just really generic action and car chases that don't really impress. Remember when we watched the Extraction 2 trailer? And they have those long shots and it's going over the train and it's on Chris Hemsworth. He's hanging out and then they're back in the train. And it just is one long continuous shot. This is nothing like that.
Oh.
It's just, okay, we're stealing a truck,
Doesn't
and now we're
sound
driving
likely.
across the desert.
The story sounds off.
And there's a long night scene where you can't see anything,
God.
except sometimes it flashes to his night vision when you can see stuff, and then it flashes back, and I'm just, what is this?
So it's not for you.
Wasn't for me. Now, if you're into this kind of stuff, sure, then you're going to love it, because the people that are going to see it enjoy it.
Obviously, people are enjoying it.
But I don't think most people are going to say, I wouldn't waste my time on this, you know? I give this a worst movie ever ranking. Yeah. If it's your thing and you got a different opinion, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what you liked about it, but it's not for me, and I don't want to rag on this. So that was my rating, and the rating has actually gone down, the critics score. It was at, I think, 53 when I checked it yesterday.
It's just a very doubtful story, because the only reason why you might send a guy into Kandahar is if he does speak the language, because he's obvious who he is. I don't know, it just seems a bit questionable, the story.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Yep. Christine, it's now time for another segment of Into the DCEU. This is part 7, where we're talking about Shazam!
Yeah.
From 2019. I got my copy right here. Did you want to give your review first, or would you like me to start on it?
I can start.
Okay, go right ahead. What's your thoughts on this film?
It's a good movie for once. It's like 100 points above all the other ones, that's for certain.
Is this your favorite of the DCEU movies so far?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean it by like 100 points over the other ones.
Okay.
It's funny, it's got a story, it's got villains that make sense, it's got characters that make sense, and it's about kids, and it makes sense.
This has on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 90% certified fresh rating and a 82% audience score. So people really enjoyed this one. It came out in April of 2019.
I think
what did you enjoy about it?
Well, one thing, I wish that they hadn't sworn in it. There's a couple places where they swear in it.
Yeah, it's PG-13, so they can get away with a couple of swears.
I mean, if only I think lots of kids could have enjoyed this, but instead they're swearing in it, which was silly. That's the only thing I didn't like about it.
No, what did you enjoy about specific parts of
talking about it? Anyway, I think it's a great movie. It's fun for family, but unfortunately they do swear in it, which was, I think, a really dumb decision on their part. But they don't make smart decisions with these movies anyway. But I think it's really good. It's funny. The acting is good. The kids are fun. There's a story. It makes sense. I don't want to spoil it because a lot of people haven't seen it.
No, this is a spoiler review. This movie's from 4 years ago.
I know, but nobody,
so we're spoiling it.
People seem to not have seen it.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it at this point, just pause this section, cut to the next chapter, and then come back after you've watched it, and you can share your thoughts as well.
My thoughts are, it's good. I recommend it. Go see it. I went to see it with people who were unfamiliar with all of this stuff, and they loved it. They were really surprised what a good time it was. The other disappointing thing about it was the fact that the caterpillar never shows up again. We haven't seen him since.
No, he does show up again.
Well, he doesn't do anything.
Well,
basically at the end of the movie, they have a scene and it's supposed to lead into another movie that we never got. So
is it going to lead into another movie? I don't know about that.
This is the problem with these DC end scenes. They don't mean anything at all.
Yes.
They just like come up with something and then they never follow through with it. So that's like just shows their bad planning, I suppose.
No, they usually have a plan. The problem is they never stick to the plan, and also they keep having regime changes at Warner Brothers, and then the new management and new people come in with their own ideas. This is what we're going to do. They course correct, they change the direction, and a lot of times it's still the same management. They release stuff, and then, people didn't like this, but so let's micromanage and course correct the next one, and then plot lines get left hanging.
This movie
and never get resolved.
We haven't watched the James Gunn Suicide Squad and the second Flash are really the only 3 decent movies so far from DC.
Okay,
I like
James
Black
Gunn Suicide Squad hadn't come out by this time.
I like Black Adam a little bit, but this movie and James Gunn's Suicide Squad are my favorite. The Flash 2 is also good, but this one is way so far apart from these other ones.
Flash hasn't come out yet.
We haven't seen we haven't seen the Flash yet. No, but I mean this Shazam 2 hasn't come out yet. Has come out and we did like it.
Yes.
Not at this point.
Yes.
Those are the only 3 good ones.
Okay, so at this point, the only one you like is Shazam.
Yes.
Okay.
It is so much better than the other ones. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. They actually hired a writer that could write finally. I don't know why this one is good.
Well, we're talking about... I try to give more information about it, and we're going to talk more about it, but right now, let's just talk about our reviews. What rating would you give this if you don't have anything more specific you want to say on this movie?
I give it like a 94. It's great.
Okay, excellent. I quite enjoyed this movie as well, so I wrote down a whole bunch of things that I enjoyed. So... Oh man, I wrote a lot of this stuff.
Don't
this
say
movie
everything.
is no. This is a spoiler review.
Yeah, I know,
okay,
but you don't
this
need
movie's
to say
4
every
years old.
little detail.
This movie, it starts off with a dark opening, and this movie is essentially it has 2 major stories. So it's 2 different stories with completely different tones. They're both dark stories, but one is full of jokes and lighthearted humor and bright colors, and the other story is really dark, and it's like, oh, this is a crappy world to be in. And then eventually the 2 stories combine, and then even when like the one character, the villain is the dark story, and then the hero Shazam or Billy Batson, that's the fun story. When they combine, even when the villain's not around, played by Mark Strong, who's great in this, it still becomes dark, but it's still full of lots of jokes. So it has a dark opening with the villain as a child. Thaddeus Savannah is his name, played by Mark Strong, who's great. It's one of the things I wrote down that I really loved in this.
He's great in everything.
Asher Angel plays the young Billy Batson. Perfect.
He's good.
Perfect
I really
job
love
on
the
this.
other kid though.
Yeah, the kid who plays Freddy.
He's the best. I
Yeah.
wish kind of he was the star of it.
Okay.
But
Now this was all
great.
filmed. A lot of this was filmed in Toronto. And I recognize a lot of the places, so I enjoyed that as much. But that's just for me. It does have a sad origin story, losing his mom, but it just goes right back into the fun. And even later on, when they're dealing with that's a rough story. That kid had a rough time
These are
because
kids
he's
that
in
need
and
a
out
break.
of foster homes.
They really need a break, and they get one.
You get Jimon Hansu is back as the Wizard. This guy's in so many superhero
He's
movies
not in
now.
it very much though. in
Doesn't
this
need
one.
to be. Just the fact that he's in them so much. So we've seen him in Shazam. Later on, we'll see him in Shazam 2.
Yeah.
We just saw him in Aquaman as a CGI fisherman character. He was in Captain Marvel. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. This guy's in so much.
I wish we had more of the Wizard in this movie actually, because you don't really get much about him.
We get the 7 deadly sins represented as monsters. Love it. Okay? The color scheme in Billy's story, each of all the kids, like there's lots of bright colors throughout it. Okay? You see lots of bright Christmas lights and it's really highlighted. So the color scheme on this is great. But each kid is represented by a different color. So Billy has bright red. Whereas Freddy, the other kid, he's really great in this. He's represented by a bright blue, like this. Darla, she's great. She's the 8-year-old kid, I think, and she's always
great.
associated with purple. Hector, who's the Hispanic kid, he's always got green on. Or, well, not all the time, but a lot of the time. So the color, they really do a good use of the color in representing each character. And then when they turn in, and then later on, spoilers, when they turn into the superhero version of themselves, that's the color of their costume. So that's why they did that. I didn't notice that before.
I don't really care about the costumes.
Great
myself.
jokes. I'm trying to try not to ruin too many of the jokes, but jokes were great.
And
I
it's
love
actually
it.
funny, and it's written well, and what the people say to each other makes sense. And they talk like kids, and they talk like they would.
The foster parents in it,
They're
they're
not in
really
this one
great
very
characters.
much.
But those actors are giving it their all. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of these superhero movies. You don't get big roles, a lot of dialogue, but they give it their all, and all the kids are great. Darla, Eugene, Mary, Hector, Freddy. Okay, there's so many references to the DC universe. So in this world, the superheroes exist. So Batman is real, Superman is real. So they got all this merchandise everywhere. You see we see Aquaman shirts. There's a Lego Superman. We see the Batarang a few times because Freddy's got one, which I don't know if Batman's going to come and take that from him or not. That would have been fun to see. We see a Batman t-shirt, Superman backpack. There's a Batman backpack. Like, you see it in the school. Some of the kids.
A fanboy.
Okay. There's a toy store scene, which is just covered in it's not all DC
That's
stuff.
Not what I like.
But
about
certain
the movie.
sections. No, I'm saying these are fun references. There's Batman and Superman action figures the kids playing with at one point, and they're fighting each other. That's a reference to BVS.
It would have been better if they just would have shot that.
There's newspaper articles about Superman that Freddy has in his room.
Well, Freddy is a fan of them, where the other people kind of haven't really accepted superheroes yet, it seems. A lot of the other people in the film they know what's going on, but they don't really know much about it, whereas Freddy is right into it. Yeah,
it's his thing, whereas other people are like, I don't care.
Well, they're kind of wary, because there was a threat, they're not always good, as they do talk about in Superman, right?
Yeah. I look at it as, in this world, it's kind of similar to, in our world, is some people are into this stuff, most people are not, so most of the kids don't have any of this stuff. But every once in a while you see a Batman backpack or a Superman shirt. You like the Harry Potter reference?
I don't remember the Harry Potter reference.
Okay, but we did talk about...
There was one, but that's not what I like about the movie.
Mark Strong as Dr. Thaddeus Savannah. Yeah, he's in a completely different movie, and he's just super serious and dark, and it's just...
As he would be.
He's the straight man, and he's just going hardcore at it. Okay, there is some things in this that, like, you wouldn't want to take to little kids. So, Christine mentioned the language, but also, at one point, there's a lady, she melts.
Well, there's
like, whoa.
One thing they don't have any blood in this movie.
No, but there's some dark stuff in it.
But there's some darker stuff.
The deadly sins look pretty creepy, especially to a 5-year-old.
They could have, just tweaked that a little bit, and it could have been for the whole family. I think that was a mistake on their part.
Then we get Mark Strong gets shot in the head with this blue light, and then he's got a blue eye. That's how he gets his powers there. That seemed to be a bit...
That's fine. I mean, kids could take that.
There's a great debate on flight or invisibility, which offices actually... That's a study that you can actually look up. That's been done many times, the flight or invisibility debate.
Which one would you like to have?
Well, that's the thing. Freddy says in the movie that everyone always says flight... Because invisibility is creepy, but when people don't know what their answer is, they say invisibility.
I would say invisibility. I don't want to fly. It's cold out there.
Oh, yeah, it would be freezing.
It would be to be flying. I'd like invisibility, and then no one would bother me.
Okay, there's these bullies in this movie, and and they're always driving up in their giant truck, which says Dode on it.
They don't really get their comeuppance.
What's a Dode? Oh, they do.
Not really.
The truck gets destroyed. That's pretty bad.
They don't realize why. They don't understand why it does.
But their truck, I'm guessing that would have said Ford, and then they changed it and it says Dodd. I'm guessing that's what it is, but I don't know. No.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a Ford truck for sure. But even though these guys are bullies and they're way too old to be going to this school, Freddy just...
They all go to the school, though. It's a kindergarten to 12 school, it appears.
It's a school in Toronto.
They all go
I know
to
that.
it, which
I know that place. I didn't
weird.
go there.
I mean, there are schools like that, but they're not usually in the city, right?
Okay. So Freddy's always mouthing off to them, and because they're just being bullies, and he's just like, nah, I'm just gonna throw it right back at them. He's flipping them off. He's swearing at them.
Where are the teachers?
Yeah, exactly. Where are the teachers? And if this is an inner city school, there would probably be cops there or security there every day.
Show security at first.
But they don't go outside.
I guess not. Anyway, they're real big jerks.
Yeah, Billy jumps into that fight. We see a Toronto subway station. Just scenes like that. With a caterpillar, it escapes the jar and it comes back at the end.
Yeah, and
visits Mark Strong.
I want a movie all about that caterpillar. What is he called? Mr. Something. I asked you the other day. It's Mr. Something.
I had to look it up.
I like the look of him.
Okay. The Shazam costume is awesome. I mean, Zachary Levi does a great job.
He's really tall.
I can't believe they mentioned Rock of Eternity in this. Damn, that is this movie is comic book ridiculous. But they
it's
play
not.
into it because
It's
you don't.
not.
No, it is. It's completely ridiculous. They're talking about the Rock of Eternity
Yeah, but
and magic. Please stop interrupting my reviews. But they counter it with all these jokes and lightheartedness and bright colors. There's so many terrible names that they come up with for him because he can't say Shazam without turning back into Billy. Thundercrack, Thunderboy, Captain Sparklefingers, the Red Cyclone, Sir Zaps-a-Lot, Frecklefingers, and I probably missed a whole lot more. There's so much stuff in this. I don't know if I could go on about this forever.
But it's
For a long
reality
time.
based. That's what I was gonna say. It's not comic book ridiculous. It's a It's reality.
It's absolutely grounded in reality.
Yeah, it's not like Aquaman.
Absolutely. At one point, the Handmaid's Tale building is in the background. I think it's a subway stop or a streetcar station entrance. And they use it all the time in later seasons of The Handmaid's Tale. You see that in this. It's underneath the highway, which is the Gardner Expressway in Toronto. There's a big reference because essentially the story is big. So this kid, instead of becoming a full adult man who then goes on to, try and have a career in New York City, he becomes a superhero and has to deal with it. So it's a kid in an adult body. And this story for this is taken, a lot of parts of the story taken directly from the New 52 Shazam story, which was part of the Justice League comic, including how he turns all his family, all the other kids, they get Shazam powers, just the kids, not the foster parents.
Should have given the parents too.
Nah, they're fun.
They're hardly in this one.
Those foster parents are so good. I like both of them. And they seem like such nice people. The Santa becomes a running gag in this movie. Shows up 4 times.
That's another thing that little kids... It's not appropriate for little kids to see that.
Yeah, because it's a fake Santa.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why they put that stuff that would discourage people from bringing their kids to this movie. I think that wasn't very smart.
Now, one thing I think they did really well, I guess in the writers, is that when it comes to figuring out things, the characters figure out right away. Whether it be the kids or whether it be the villain. Because the villain, Mark Strong, he figures out that Shazam is Billy because Freddy gives it away.
Yeah.
And it's on the news, right? So he figures it out right away. And then the other kids are able to figure it out, and it just none of this he looks exactly the same, or Freddy's just talking to him and then he's talking to Billy and no one figures it out. That's just nonsense. So they did a good job of that there.
Yeah, it's real dialogue. It makes sense.
Okay. The kids help Billy find his mom, and he gets to meet his real mom, and that was, this is some heavy stuff there. He goes into this, community housing apartment. It's pretty run down and meets his real mom.
The mom is the issue. She's not a good mom.
17-year-old who ends up with a kid. Whew. So
anyway.
It's a really depressing story. Like I said, there's a lot of dark stuff in this. Love the foster mom bumper sticker.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a foster mom. What's your superpower?
Right.
I love that. That was great. All the kid actors are great. Billy figures out how to hurt that all the way by bringing out the sins. All the weird doors, and then we get those crocodiles. I don't even know what that is. But that is a deep cut from the comics.
Instead of dogs playing poker, it's crocodiles playing poker.
That is a deep cut from the comics. There's a final confrontation at the Winter Carnival. There's a Hulk Avengers reference when one of the sins is slamming them around. That's from the Avengers. Not exactly the same thing.
I don't know.
And then the confrontation in the sky when Shazam and Zachary Levi and Mark Strong are flying around. Mark Strong starts giving them the evil villain speech. And he's just, what? I can't hear you. You're like a mile away.
See, that's what I like about
That's great. Because that's what would happen.
Yeah, exactly. And we have, other than Superman having great hearing, we have these superhero movies with these same kind of scenes, and you wouldn't know what the other guy was saying.
Okay. There's a Dragon Ball Z and Mortal Kombat reference when he does it's like, I don't.
Playing Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Yes, they were. Billy was able to outsmart Envy. Okay,
I don't
and
think
draw
those
them out,
creatures are very smart.
no, they're not. And so the kid was able to outsmart them, and that worked well. I thought that was good. At the end, they got a new secret lair because they wanted a lair the whole time.
We see
so
them
they
more
gotta
in the
do
second one.
They have a nice family dinner at the end. This really does promote family, but it's a foster family, and it's really good. You know, it's a nice atmosphere in the house, and it's realistic because they're always yelling, and the place is constantly a mess. And anyway, bet that house costs a lot of money. The end cafeteria scene where the family comes in, and then Superman comes in, but you don't see his face.
I don't know why they can just put Henry Cavill in there.
They apparently, some behind the scenes stuff is that they tried to do that.
Yeah.
But it was scheduling conflicts, and also probably the previous regime at Warner Bros. At the time under Kevin Tsujihara. No, this was the AT&T crowd. They didn't want Henry Cavill in any of these things.
He's so mopey.
That's not why.
And they couldn't decide if you should have a mustache.
But they did try to get Henry Cavill into it. They just had to use someone else. The fun credit scene with the Ramones song, I Don't Want to Grow Up, that was great. I really love that. That was funny. There's a mid-credit prison scene. That's where we see the caterpillar.
Yeah, and then we don't see anything else. I want to see that caterpillar in a movie. I want to see him on his own.
Why are you so
escape,
obsessed with this?
because he's interesting. Anyway, but that's the problem with these. You don't believe. They don't have any credibility, these end credit scenes of DC, because we've seen other ones as well now, too, that really don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Marvel ones are all very calculated. And
yes.
They definitely go somewhere, and it's important to see them for the most part.
Okay. That caterpillar is called Mr. Mind.
Okay, so a mastermind.
Because he's got all these mind powers.
Yes.
And telekinesis. It just apparently takes him forever to get anywhere because it's a caterpillar, right? There's also a fun end credit scene. Now I didn't read out all these things, but I wrote down 74. Oh, one thing I gotta mention. I'm not gonna say what it is, but the booby trap. Oh man, they kept making that joke, and it worked every time.
Again, they could have just changed it a little bit and let little kids into this movie.
I think this works as a movie for teenagers.
It does, but I don't know why they went that route. Because it could have been for everybody.
Because it's funny.
I know, but
and
I don't know.
And it makes it more realistic.
They could have.
If you tone it down too much to make it too kid friendly, then it doesn't seem realistic.
The beer part, I think the beer part could have stayed. Like the beer part where they go to get the beer and then of course they spit it out.
Kids drinking beer and they're like,
gross.
Tastes like vomit.
I totally agree. I don't like beer either. Anyway.
Well, they're just drinking like the cheapest beer, probably a light beer too.
Well, it's American beer, so Lord knows.
Okay, I'm not saying anything on that. So, I do have some behind the scenes stuff about this. Well, not very much about this movie. Because this movie, it came out at the beginning of April in 2019. But I saw it in February, a month and a half earlier. They did sneak preview screenings.
Oh. Because
the regime at Warner Brothers saw the movie, they really liked it, they believed in it, so they put it out in limited release. So in big theaters, just a couple of screenings on a Saturday. And that way, so some audiences could go see it, and then they would spread the word that it's really good. And it was really good.
It's good.
Okay, and that's why it has such a high rating.
So surprising, it's good.
I don't think it made a ton of money, but...
It does make sense what makes money and what doesn't. I mean, this movie is really good, and it didn't make that much. It's
a superhero movie of a mostly unknown character. Not many people know the character
Guardians
Shazam.
Of the Galaxy was unknown as well.
Exactly.
I think they missed the boat on this though. I think if they would have just tweaked a couple elements, it could have been like a Finding Nemo, which would have been appropriate for everybody. I think they really missed the boat on that. Although it's a really good movie, but I think they could have really knocked it out of the park if they just edited it down a little bit.
You gave it a high rating. On the internet rating system, I give it a best movie ever. Because it's so much fun. It's not my favorite of the DC movies, of the 7 we've watched so far, but it's number 2. It actually supplanted Aquaman as number 2. Now Aquaman for me is number 3.
It's like way up here, even farther than you can see compared to all the other ones, to me.
You're just so negative on these things.
It's good.
So let's talk a little
good.
bit about Mustache-gate, because we didn't delve into this too much.
There's no mustaches in this one.
No, this is going back to our big helping of justice from 2017.
Maybe they need Zachary Levi. Could have
So
been better.
I was reading up on this because much of Justice League was reshot, and I talked to you about how the
There's a
studio
second
executives
There's a whole second movie, right?
Yeah, but it's not in canon. It's not a sequel. It's just the same movie done differently.
Right, it's the same
with
one though.
Different footage.
Oh, different footage. Okay.
So when Justice League was being shot, the studio under the executives with Kevin Tsujihara were pushing to get this out for November. So I went on Looper and Esquire.com and to kind of familiarize myself with before the show. So on Looper it says the entire Henry Cavill Superman mustache controversy explained. And it's got a picture of him from Man of Steel with a mustache put on him.
I don't like mustaches.
Okay. And if you go over to Esquire, it says from 2018, the real reason behind Henry Cavill's infamous 3 million Justice League mustache. And it's got the photos of him, which is Uncanny Valley of him in Justice League as Superman. So here's what happened. Justice League was shot, and Zack Snyder had principal photography on it, which is the main production, was pretty much done. And Zack Snyder had to step away from the movie because in March of 2017. Okay, but meanwhile it's supposed to come out in November of the same year. So he had to leave because of his daughter unfortunately passed away. And so it was a family tragedy. So he went away for a couple weeks, tried to come back. Now he had to step away. So they brought in Joss Whedon.
Right.
To bring it up. And they had to reshoot most of the movie. The problem was, after Henry Cavill finished principal photography on Justice League, he went to shoot another movie. It was called Normus or something like that. And after that, he came in. Was it Normus? Oh, some weird thing. So he had to have like long hair and a beard.
Oh.
So when he went to go shoot for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Mission Impossible Fallout with Christopher McQuarrie. He comes in with a mustache, and the director's like, "Sure, you can have a mustache, right?" There's no reason for it to have a mustache in that movie. It's just a look that he wanted to have at the time. Okay, so inside this, they're shooting Mission Impossible. They got it, but then suddenly he's got to go and do reshoots, which lasted a couple months, which that's a long time.
Okay.
On Justice League. But he's still filming Mission Impossible, and in one he has to have a mustache, and in the other he doesn't. So the director, Chris McQuarrie, for Mission Impossible says, "We'll just shut down our production. You guys pay us like $3 million, because that's how much it'll cost to shut down production for a couple of weeks, so that he can shave it and then go film Justice League."
Glued a mustache.
That came
on
up.
the fella?
That came up as well.
They're really good
So
at it.
Paramount, who's in charge of Mission Impossible, says, "No, you ain't shutting down our movie." And the funny thing was, it ended up getting shut down anyway, because that's the one Tom Cruise broke his foot on.
Oh.
Or jumping off rooftops there, if you heard that. So they had to shut down anyway. And the executives at Paramount refused to let Henry Cavill shave the mustache to go and film Justice League, because then it would take too long for him to grow back. And they didn't want to CGI a mustache or use a fake mustache.
People that make these mustaches.
Okay. And so it ended up becoming this big tit for tat between Warner Brothers and Paramount, these two multi-billion-dollar studios, right? And who won in the end? Paramount.
Yeah.
So that means Henry Cavill had to go back and film for a couple months of Justice League as Superman with a mustache.
Well,
and then they had to use visual effects to remove it.
I'm sure the Mission Impossible movie was better than this one.
And this movie becomes so involved in drama because not just Zack Snyder had to step away, Joss Whedon gets brought in, and then, you know, you got Ray Fisher on Twitter years later calling him out, saying how he treated the cast was terrible. Yeah, Joss Whedon. Here we go here. In the wake of Zack Snyder's resignation from the big-budget superhero form, Warner Bros. And DC enlisted the directing experience of Joss Whedon, who had previously helmed Marvel's Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. One of your favorite Marvel movies. Remember that?
I mean, Superman's not in the Justice League that much. I think they should have just recast him.
It's because he was dead at the time.
They should have just recast him.
Get this. With yet another creative mind in the Justice League foray, the studio agreed to 2 months and $25 million worth of reshoots. That's huge. A significant cost compared to a standard reshoot budget of $6 to $10 million and a couple of weeks.
It must have been really bad then, because what came out wasn't good.
Well, that's what happened is they had to reshoot most of it because Joss Whedon's like, we'll put a different fish. And then later, Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, took to Twitter and labeled Whedon's behavior towards the cast and crew during the reshoots as gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. And this has nothing to do with the mustache.
Well,
he has to go film this. Warner Brothers even offered to pay for the visual effects to put the mustache back on, which is way easier than removing facial hair.
Okay.
And the executives at Paramount wouldn't budge at all. So it just ends up like there's so many things that are working against it, and the studio executives kept saying, no, it's coming out in November 2017, no matter how bad it is, so that they could get their bonuses because they knew AT&T was taking over the next year.
The business daddy.
According to John Oliver.
Listen, this is the only interesting thing about this movie. This movie, The Justice League, is awful. It is really, really bad.
Okay.
And this is the only interesting thing about it. Oh. Don't see this movie. If you haven't seen it, don't go to see it.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad.
And then it became a big meme on the internet. I'm going to put this up on screen. This was used so much, and you can still find this stuff. It was hilarious.
Well,
Henry Cavill even got into the fray of it, and he was joking around about it too. It was hilarious.
Well, they say that when you die, your hair continues to grow, so maybe he would have had some facial hair.
Not that much. However, it was suggested apparently that what if they had done it where Superman came back with a mustache and they just never mentioned it, and sometimes he has a mustache and sometimes he doesn't. No one ever addresses it. That would have been funny.
Interesting. You could count how many times you see the mustache and eat some popcorn at the same time.
Yeah, because we said that if they had done this as a straight comedy, Justice League would have been way better. Just throw in tons of jokes.
Seeing a Beetle car, punch buggy.
Yep. Yeah, punch buggy. So, and that's part 7 of Into the DCEU. Next, we're going back to our segment, Nap Time at Hogwarts. So now we're going to review Harry Potter 7, The Force Awakens. Dear, according to...
It's called The Deathly Hallows.
I know, I put it up on the screen. So... Yeah, part 1.
Deathly Hallows part
Certified
1.
fresh at 77% on Rotten Tomatoes and 85% critic score. I believe this is one of the lowest rated ones.
Well...
Now, is this one of your favorites?
I like them all because they're one big story. So I don't really have favorites or not favorites.
Okay.
There is a lot of parts in this where it's really hopeless, though. And it's really depressing. And...
I find it that
they're
depressing.
trying to show us how desperate things we're getting, I suppose. So I can see that's why people wouldn't like it, because they're running from they don't even know what's going on.
So
in some of this,
I went into this. I was looking forward to this. I'm like, okay, we got 6 movies behind us. Okay, 6 movies of build up. Not that much happening in this series. So, okay. Going into this one, I'm expecting a big fight and lots of stuff to happen, and Ron and Hermione are gonna hook up and just gonna be going at it like crazy, and they're gonna get rid of all these terrible teachers, which they did.
It's not a J.J. Abrams movie.
There was a fun chase at the beginning. There was a couple of decent jokes in it. There's a lot of just them on the run, and the weird dick guy is back there, Voldemort. And it had some stuff that was entertaining. I was entertained for most of this, and which is better than the previous ones. because man, these have just
I
been.
think you weren't paying attention to some of them.
This whole franchise is kind of a slow burn, and I don't like slow burn movies, let alone 6 of them that are over 2 hours long. Whew.
I really enjoyed it.
I really expected more from this franchise. This is a beloved franchise.
Things are very bleak in this movie.
Yeah, so they're on the run.
Trouble.
Yeah, so Dumbledore is dead, so now apparently they're on the run because they can't go back to Hogwarts, and these, Nazi-type people have taken over the Ministry of Magic, including the Queen, Imelda Staunton, there.
They're killing people, too.
Okay.
Lots of them, and torturing people. It's really bad.
And then the Voldemort guy's at the head of this table, and everyone has to serve him.
Some of them aren't too happy about it.
The kids are just on the run, and so all of a sudden they find the sword out in the middle of the woods, which is definitely Arthur reference.
You'll see
definitely
more,
that's a King Arthur reference.
You'll see more about that later on, the sword.
See, you shouldn't have to wait until the last movie to find out what's going on in a 8-movie franchise.
Well, they told you what's going on. That sword is the sword belonging to the owner of his house. And when he's in need, the sword came to him. It already did before. It was in the Sorting Hat when he rescued Ginny from the big snake.
Yeah.
A long time ago. So this time he really needs the sword again. And the sword's been missing and we don't know where it is. And it turns out that Bellatrix Lestrange stole it. And that's where it has been, in her vault. That's where she stole it. But it comes to Harry when he needs it.
Yeah, it comes
so
to him like
about.
Yeah, and he has to go into the lake, There's no lady there, but this is definitely an Arthurian reference here. There was... What was I going to say? They definitely mentioned Chamber of Secrets a lot. That's Harry Potter 2. Cruise Control.
They mention it a lot?
Oh, yeah. They kept saying Chamber of Secrets all the time. Okay? They mentioned it at least 3 times. So a lot of this, the kids are on the run. They're fighting a lot. Because obviously this is spoilers. This movie's from 2010.
Well, there's there's 2 really sad things that happen. Well, the first one is rather quick. That happens in the beginning. Well, one thing.
What was that?
Well, lots of sad things.
Hermione
has to make her parents forget that she ever existed.
Yeah, and I was wondering why that was. Christine explained it to me.
And the Dudleys have to leave and go I don't know where they go, but they had to move out. Everybody, the Weasleys had their house burned down and they have to rebuild.
Didn't Potter do that? He burned their house down?
No, he didn't burn them. Those Death Eaters came for them in the field and burnt their house down. Bellatrix and the other ones.
Okay.
We weren't paying attention very much. Anyway, and this time I think their house gets burned down again, by the looks of it. We don't really see that part. It's so chaotic. We don't know where the other characters went. We don't have information either in this movie, right? The kids don't know what's going on with their families, and we don't know either. Other movies, they might show us what's going on, but we don't know. It's really hopeless. And,
I think this has been a problem for this entire franchise, is that I haven't read the books. And I think that the way that the books are written, maybe they give more information, or maybe in the style and the way that they're written, you're not supposed to have the information, but you're supposed to know what's going on. This isn't really a good franchise for the beginner. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't study the Harry Potter lore, so I'm kind of going all along with it, I sat down, first time we go to watch this, I'm like, okay, it's wizards, it's witches, I'm not really a big fan of the wands, but it's magic, it's going to be fun and exciting, this is a beloved franchise, and this has been rough for me to get through. I'm glad I did watch them.
You don't always understand what's happening for some reason. Yeah,
exactly, and that's to my point. And similar to when we watched Justice League, and there's all these DC things in it that DC fans, and especially comic fans, might know about, some might not. And so we have that context, but as a general audience, you don't have that context, so it makes less sense what's happening to you. and that's kind of the reverse here with this Harry Potter stuff.
I didn't read all
I
the
think
books
that's what's
at
happening
once.
here.
I watched some of the movies and I read some of the books, and I watched some of the movies and I read some of the books. I didn't have the
What
knowledge.
did you start with, the books or or a movie?
The movie and the first one, and I didn't really get it.
And then you went and read the books.
And then I read the
But I haven't, so yeah, that's a failing of this franchise.
But I think at this time, I don't know if the books had actually caught up to. I think they were in pace with the movies. I don't remember, but
I mean, another failing of this franchise is that it's way too long. But I'm trying to be positive here. So there was a couple of good jokes. There's some dark, weird, creepy stuff. There was a good chase fight. Harry Potter and Ron formed their own polar bear club at one point and jump into ice water. I mean, sure, if that's what you're into, I wouldn't do that myself. What else is there? There was some good fighting and conflict at the end there, I guess. This one definitely held my attention better. But I mean, so even though this franchise isn't for me, I'm gonna stop saying bad things about this. I'm gonna say I'll give this movie a best movie ever, but it's not like I thought it was great. It's like 51 or 52%.
What did you think about the ending about Dobby?
Yeah, they killed off Dobby. That was good. Who apparently is being voiced by Toby Jones. Now, he was an annoying character. I didn't know Dobby and this other elf were different. I thought they were both the same character in previous movies.
See,
because now we see them together.
Was the elf of the family of the other family, and Dobby was
family? I have no idea.
Sirius's the black family.
That's Gary Oldman's family.
That's why he goes with the house. And Dobby was the Malfoy elf, and Harry freed him, so he didn't have to be a slave to them anymore. Now, Creature, there's nobody left for him.
When did Harry free him?
He gave him the sock in the hallway.
Which
when
movie
Malfoy
was that?
Was there, like the second movie or something?
I must have missed that. That was a long time ago for me.
Yeah, you see, you're not always picking up on what's happening.
Yeah, because there's so much coming at you, and yet nothing's happening for these movies.
I love the movies. Scurry, just getting them now, I think.
I'm trying with them. Now,
anyway, and there's some more interesting things to come. And
there's only one more.
In this film, we have people that die. The Aura dies. Dobby dies. We find there's a lot of people being tortured and taken away and disappeared and registered, and we don't see because they don't know what's happening. Ron doesn't even know where his family is, if his family's okay because he has a giant family, and they don't know. They assume their friends are at school, I suppose, but they really don't know. And we see the Malfoy family as well, and we see that Draco, he's not really into this. He just kind of gives Harry his wand. He puts up a tiny fight, but his family is being tortured by Voldemort. Their heart's not really into this, other than the sister, maybe perhaps. But yeah, Ron Weasley, or that actor he put on some weight for this, in a good way. He's been working out, and so is Harry Potter. Look at his jawline. They're getting big. Now, Emma Watson kind of looks the same to me. She's just getting taller. But the kids are growing up. We only see the other kids very briefly. We see Neville. We don't see all the kids in this one. And we don't see all the teachers. We don't see... Maggie Smith is not in this one.
Yeah, that was a good thing for me on this one. Her character's so useless.
They're not at the school. We don't even see really the school.
Yeah, I didn't understand the whole movie. Why aren't they just going back to Hogwarts? Because it's what they do every time. But another good thing about this movie is none of that damn Quidditch, man.
They can't because...
I can't take that stuff.
The world has changed and everything is gone... it's like Hitler is taking over,
it's a reference to the Nazis. They're taking over. Yeah. They got guys with their armbands on. And yeah, I get the references, including all the sexual references in this that you seem to ignore, and the coming of age stories. This one so far is the best for me. Even though a lot of it was built up, but it kept my interest and it was more fun than not, I say. So I'm trying with these films. What kind of rating would you give it?
I don't know. I like them all. I give it again a 93, 92. This one is way more bleak though. It's really heavy. It's depressing.
Sure.
Well, you didn't like Dobby.
There's more heavy stuff in Shazam than in this movie.
There's a lot of... Harry's lost now a lot of the people that were important to him. Right?
I guess.
He lost Sirius, and now he's lost Dobby.
But I'm not really invested in this
he doesn't
character.
have any family.
I mean, they
left
could have
other than
killed
his
off
friends.
Ron in this, and I'd be like, "Hey, something cool happened."
No, but we see the struggles of Ron, because Ron has got this very famous magical best friend who he can't compare to, and he's always trying to compare himself to him. And
he doesn't need to. He's got the girl.
But he doesn't think that, right? Because he's a kid. He doesn't have the confidence.
Fair enough.
So we see that in this movie.
Okay. So we'll watch the next one we're probably gonna have on hold because of some traveling. But yeah, also you got to pick another franchise for what you want to watch after we finish the 8th Harry Potter film. You talked about the Tarantino movies or possibly Mission Impossible or something else. However, if you got a suggestion for a film franchise, leave a comment down below or shoot us an email and for Christine to pick next. And maybe it's something that she hasn't seen or something you haven't seen in a long time. And that is another segment of Nap Time at Hogwarts. Now we're going back to Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Okay, get away
which
from
is
it.
our favorite thing. It's going to be going for a long time.
You're in season 2 now. This is the first episode. Was
Season
it
2,
good?
episode
Did it grab
1.
your attention?
No, this was not a good season premiere. It's called The 37s.
That's
So,
an interesting title.
They're going along in space, and they're just arguing with each other and blah, blah, blah. And suddenly they come across... I think it's Harry Kim picks it up. There, Captain, there's a rust outside in the iron. And she's like, what are you talking about? How is iron gonna rust in the vacuum of space? Don't be dumb, Harry. Okay?
Would they have iron on the ship?
So, there's an iron trail out in space, like iron particles.
Oh.
And what they find is a 1937 Ford truck floating in space.
So the Fast and Furious, his grandparents were involved.
I guess. I don't know. So they bring it on board, and Tom Paris is suddenly a gearhead.
Why would they bring it on board? Again, they bring everything into the ship.
They bring it on board. They got to investigate it. Okay, it's from a nearby. We're gonna go to this nearby planet. That's where it's from. Nearby planet is there, but they can't beam to the surface because there's dark clouds and everything. It's all storms, right? So, gonna take a shuttle? Nope, can't take a shuttle. So what are we gonna do then? This planet is just covered with this big cloud of stuff. Here's what we're gonna... Janeway's like, Paris, land the ship on the surface.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, that is like so bad.
Like, is that the best they could...
That's bad captain decision, Janeway.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Also, is that the best they could do is this new ability of the ship for their season 2 premiere? It's pretty weak.
Do they really care about this truck
So
that
they
much?
take the ship down and it lands on 4 little legs, which is able to hold it all up. Even though it's completely like the weight is lopsided.
They're the new titanium, whatever that is in the future.
Oh my goodness. It's got these 4 tiny little feet that it lands on. Okay, sure. And what they come across there is, this is getting into a 90s story. Because if you watch stuff in the first half of the 90s and late 80s, it was all about alien abduction. So they find 8 people that are cryogenically frozen.
And that was their truck?
Sort of.
That's a lot of people to fit into one little truck.
So they got these people that are from Earth.
They would be in the back.
They got these people that are from Earth and they're cryogenically frozen. And they've been frozen for about 400 years.
Right.
How the hell did they get there? Right? So here's what they decide to do in their infinite wisdom. Okay? Who argues against it? It might have been Chakotay. They're gonna Paris suggests it and Janeway agrees. They're gonna unfreeze them and wake them up.
Oh God.
Why?
Again, they
in
did
the
this
24th
already.
century.
Didn't they unfreeze some other poor people and told them that their society was no good? Yeah, the dead people that came into the
No. That was a different dimension.
Yeah, but
this is
still,
the same dimension. They're gonna screw this up now.
Your whole belief system is wrong.
They unfreeze these people and immediately they get taken hostage. Okay? They did disarm them, but one guy was a gangster, apparently Amelia Earhart, because she's in this. Because she went missing. Her and her navigator is like a mobster. So he pulls out a gun from the 30s and takes them hostage. Okay, and they just go along with it, even though they got phasers there. And Tuvok's there with his phaser. He's a security officer. Do something, buddy. So they get taken hostage, and they have to eventually call up to the ship, and it's like, Chakotay, you gotta come rescue us. And he's like, okay, sure, why not?
It sounds really dumb.
It is really dumb. And then what happens is they're going outside, and they get attacked by some aliens, I guess, in these really terrible costumes. It's like really cheap. It's like something a kid would put together with cardboard.
Okay.
Something you would see in the Goldberg. So they get attacked, but don't worry, they take them out because Janeway goes and takes them out herself. And it turns out the people there are human. So here's the story they find out. Aliens came to Earth in the 1930s and abducted a whole lot of people. Okay? Dozens of people. Right. And brought them back to the Delta Quadrant.
For what purpose?
As like slave labor and that.
Oh.
So what happened was, though, these people revolted against them and destroyed the aliens.
Good.
And their ship that was able to cross galaxies.
Oh, they destroyed the ship too.
They destroyed everything. And this was all 400 years ago. Because they're from the 30s, right?
Right.
So they revolted and started their own society.
There were generations of them.
So this is the multiple generations down. And that's why they thought it was the aliens returning.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And instead they decide, okay, well, we woke up these people from the 30s. And they're like, oh my God, are they the 37s? So these are gods to these people. Because they've been frozen in cryostasis.
Right, they didn't know how to wake them up.
But they thought they were dead.
Oh.
So now they're back to like, these people are gods. So all of them are like, I'm staying here, right?
Right.
Or am I going to go on Voyager for 70 years to see if I can get home? Which they wouldn't last that long.
And they realize the Voyager people are not too smart, so they probably
they're really dumb. And then the captain and Chakotay decide people might want to stay. So they let everyone decide if they want to stay. So just meet us in the cargo bay. And I remember this scene from when I originally watched it, and it wasn't good. They walk in, no one's there. I'm like, okay, sure.
I would have.
And then they go back heading towards the Alpha Quadrant.
Listen, this captain is making bad decisions here. She's gobbling up nebulas. She's landing on planets where you cannot tell what's on the surface. Could have been on.
They need some better writers. Because sometimes they got good shows, and I don't even remember the other people even being in it. If they were in the background. So that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. For my next segment, I want to talk about the newest episode of Barry. So this is season 4, episode 7. It's called A Nice Meal. This is going to be a spoiler discussion. So it's been a couple days since it came out on Sunday. I actually had to re-watch it before filming this, for recording here, because it didn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, there seems to be... I'm confused that are they showing us 1 or 2 different timelines at the same time? Because Barry, who has been captured by Moss, Detective Moss's dad, Jim, when you see Barry there, he looks like Barry from the present, when he was, in the class with Mr. Cousineau and Sally, before he took off and then jumped 10 years. But the other people are supposedly 10 years into the future. Hank, he's got a statue of Crispo. By the way, all the stuff with Hank and Fuchs is hilarious. I was busting a gut laughing when Hank and his henchmen there set up a rocket launcher, or set up looks like a piece of artillery there, and then they fire a missile at Fuchs' house, and they miss, and he's like, okay, let's load another. What? These things are really expensive. I'm thinking budget. So they only bought 1 missile. Oh boy. So that stuff is hilarious. And then you see the 2 women that are living with Fuchs and his whole prison gang. I don't know. It just seems it's not really making much sense. And Sally she's going to talk to a cop to turn herself in, and then she starts seeing like blood coming down the guy's face. At first I thought that might have been programming from Barry, but the more I think about it, it's almost like there's a lot of stuff they're showing us that is fake, and it's all in Barry's head or in someone else's head, and it seems to all be breaking down. Maybe it's all going to come crashing down. Anyone out there who remembers back in the 80s, back that time, it was a big thing that it was all just a dream. It was used a lot in movies. You saw it in TV shows. They would do some crazy, weird show episode, and it was all just a dream. Music videos did a lot. Even did in video games. Super Mario Brothers 2 on Nintendo, if you remember that one. There's an old reference for you. So, is this all in Bill Hader's head there, in Barry's head? I'm not sure what's going on. Am I the only one who notices this? Because Barry, 10 years in the future, he had more gray and more of a gut. And then when it cuts to Bill Hader's character there, who's being psychologically tortured by Moss, doesn't look as old as he did before, unless he dyed his hair or something while he was traveling to LA. I don't know. I love the stuff with Fuchs and with Hank. He hires all these mercenaries, and then he gets 4 boxes of heads, and jeez. And Mr. Kusno, he's got all his principles until he learns that Daniel Day-Lewis is going to come out of retirement to play him in this new movie. Then I'm all for this movie now. Meanwhile, he was launching a campaign against Warner Brothers. Of course, it would be Warner Brothers because HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, so they can say Warner Brothers as much as they want instead of naming one of the other studios and giving them free publicity. So that's why they do that. I don't know. They only got 1 episode left to wrap this all up, and it's called Wow. So it's coming out this Sunday. I don't know. I'm still thinking that a lot of this, if not all of it, is fake, and it's all going to come crashing down as it just, all these different timelines. There's these 2 different timelines, which they only started doing this season. It's an odd choice why they did this. So, is there that 10-year jump and all this happened in the past, or did that actually happen and now it's all blowing up 10 years later? If that's true, I predict that. Actually, you know what? I predict that probably Barry's gonna die no matter what is true at the end of this series, which is ending next episode, because this is the final season. I don't know. Oh well, we'll see what's happening. When the episode comes out, I'm probably wrong on all these things. Let me know what your predictions are. What are your thoughts on Barry Season 4, Episode 7, or just the show in general this season? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below, please. Next, we're going to review... What should we review next? Okay, you can do your review on An Accidental Death.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, well, I had a little bit of an issue with my Audible this week. It wouldn't let me buy any books.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went with what they have to offer, and they do have free books on there. So I guess it had suggested one to me, and I just picked it, and it was called An Accidental Death by Peter Grainger. I believe it's from 2014. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's a series, because now I've finished that one. I'm on to the next one, but for the Grace. And it is just a straight detective show, a British detective type of show, which I enjoy the shows on television. I have never really read many books, and this, the British, I can actually, I think of some of the actors playing this character in some of those shows that I like. I like Endeavour and that. It's to the sort of like Endeavour, but it's in this day and age, and
is this it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's about I think they're all about the same cop. Well, this one I'm reading now, and this Accidental Death is about a cop called DC. And basically in England, you're in DC means you're a detective, but those are his initials. Mm-hmm. David. Those are his initials. Everyone calls him DC, but he's had many different titles because they're going through reorganization.
Are you spoiling this?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not spoiling it. They're going through reorganization at the police, and people are getting let go. There's, downsizing and all this kind of stuff. And there's bosses there in place that are those kind of, basically, the more incompetent you are, the more promoted you get. And
sounds like my work.
We're familiar with that kind of thing. So I enjoyed it in that way because I think it was really realistic. He's a cop that knows what he's doing, but the people that are his superiors or whatever perhaps don't, and they don't even understand how he operates and stuff like that. And he gets saddled with a student. That's what, and him and the student have to investigate this accidental death. I really enjoyed it. It was well written. The guy, I don't know if he was a cop or not himself, but he seems to know what he's doing. And I could just really see the characters in my mind. It was really, it was an intriguing story, and I really enjoyed it.
Is this true crime?
No, it's not true.
Okay, so it's fiction.
Yeah.
And DC Smith investigation, so it's a murder mystery kind of story.
Yeah, it's what I think each book is one case. This one a little bit. Well, the character himself it's funny, like these bosses that he has that are.
So it's not meant to be a comedy. It's meant to be a mystery. No, it's
really like if you've ever watched the Endeavour Store with Morse and Thursday. He is Thursday, but he's a little different than Thursday, and Morse is the student. It's like
that's an older reference there.
Endeavor's on TV right now.
Okay.
Anyway, it's the old cop and the student cop, and the ways, and it's basically like his ways are now, they want modernization and they want numbers and they, sound familiar? Anyway, yeah. And in this kind of work, there's not really numbers. I mean, you get a crime and you investigate it, and anyway, it's interesting. I enjoyed that part because we're used to that bureaucratic.
What business. Rating would you give this?
I think for sure I give it like a 91, 92. I enjoyed it, and it's just a cop drama. It's not anything deep about the matters of the world, but I enjoy the characters, and I think it's really well written. And I enjoyed it, and now I am enjoying the next one. Is a completely different crime, but there are some different characters that play, but still the main character is DC Smith. He's the main character, and he's a fella whose wife has passed away recently. We just hear him talk about his wife, and it takes a while to figure out she just passed away like within the year, and so he's also struggling with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you recommend people check this out?
Yeah, if you like cop drama, if you like mystery, read that. Yeah, right. and it comes with Audible. Classic. And all the series does. It seems like there's at least 7 or 8 of them at least.
For free.
Yeah, if you have Audible.
All right, free stuff on Audible, cop drama stuff. Have you checked this out? Let us know down in the comments below, please. We always love hearing from people. Oh, I wanted to mention that in our last episode, we got our Is Potato shirts.
I didn't wear mine.
So I'm wearing mine.
I didn't get the memo.
Because I wanted to, show support. The reason why this is important, I didn't read this out before, but it says, you go onto the CBS store, which is the Paramount shop, and that's where I got these. These are being put out by The Late Show. Oh, there it is, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And on their website it says, help feed the brave people of Ukraine and celebrate the holiday season with a festive tuber-themed holiday gift. Yeah, because this came out this was put out for last Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes the best way to protest a dictator is with an actual tater. So throw a few hash browns on the fire, snuggle up with a hot cup of yam, and soon you'll be yuling. Okay, yeah, so Christmas references. 100% of Late Show's proceeds go to the World Central Kitchen, who provides meals in response to humanitarian climate and community crisis, building resilient food systems and locally led solutions. Yeah.
And you can still buy these shirts?
Oh yeah, they're still available.
You just got those.
So that's right. So it's to help.
I don't know what it's about.
The refugees from Ukraine.
There you go.
And also it's a funny joke.
I don't really see what the joke is, but whatever.
It's because everything in Russia is potato.
I don't know. Back home, my parents really like potatoes too. They're not Russian. They like these. You should have got them the shirts.
My next review is going to be for HBO miniseries Love and Death.
Right.
So also true crime. Now I'm sure they've dramatized this. So I did previous reviews, but this is for the last 2 episodes, episodes 6 and 7. I just finished the last one today before recording because it just came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is really good.
Oh, okay.
So if you're into, it started off a bit slow for me.
Right.
However, it was interesting enough that I stuck with it, and I checked it out because it's got Elizabeth Olsen, Jesse Plemons, and Kristen Ritter in it, and I like all 3 of those people. So I checked it out, and after getting 3 episodes in, I was like, yeah, I'll keep watching this. And so it was a bit of, it kind of started off slow, but by the end, I'm like, wow, this was really good.
Oh, good.
So if you're into true crime stories, go on HBO, or Max, as it's called now. In Canada, we access HBO through Crave, which is a garbage app.
Or the channel itself.
Yeah, Crave, yeah. It's
No,
not good.
HBO, we do have HBO as a channel.
But this series, Love and Death, was really good, and you kind of question, like, how you feel, how are you supposed to feel at the end of this?
Oh.
Because this really happened, so it's not really a spoiler if I say what happened at the end. I'm not going to, but people check it out. But the last 2 episodes are the trial, and then you get the verdict at the end.
Right.
And you get the closing statements. Is this really what happened, or did they like change the closing statements in that? I don't know, but it was really well done. So true crime, but HBO level quality, and I definitely recommend checking this out. There, it's I mean, I think people will feel differently on the outcome. Everyone will feel differently. So what I might think, you might completely disagree with what happened, and you might be really upset, or, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? I don't know. But yeah, definitely check this out and see what's going on for yourself. Love and Death on HBO. Right. 7-episode miniseries. I give it a best series ever. Good. I can see myself rewatching this.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to watch
That's how much I enjoyed
watch it with me?
Yeah, maybe in a little bit, but not right
summer.
away.
I have more time in the summer.
Now, just very quickly, I checked out, because I said for May I was going to check out Mulligan on Netflix, the animated show. Got through first 2 episodes. I'm like, this is nothing. It's I thought it was going to be more like Futurama.
Yeah.
And it does seem as if they're copying a lot of stuff from it, or homaging it, but it's not funny. It wasn't funny at all. I mean, Phil Lamar's in it, and it just wasn't my kind of humor.
Oh. I
don't know. So I don't really want to get to it. If you checked out Mulligan, okay, let us know what you think. Maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know. Also, if you saw Love and Death, let us know down in the comments below. I really enjoyed that. But Mulligan it just wasn't for me.
Okay.
Not at all. Then I also checked out the first 2 episodes of White House Plumbers on HBO.
I started the first episode. I did not like it. I actually had to rewind it a couple of times, like trying to think, did I miss something? I just thought it was just lame. I didn't enjoy it. I don't know. I didn't like it at all.
Okay, going back just a second, Mulligan, 55% critic rating Rotten, 52% IDE score. Wow. Guess I'm not in the minority. People aren't enjoying this. Okay, what are your thoughts on White House Plumbers while I check this out?
I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was good. I just didn't like it. I just think it had no spark.
It currently has a 74% fresh critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 75% audience score. I didn't really get it. Maybe it's just a story because it's such an American political story.
Maybe.
It really doesn't interest me. Watergate.
It wasn't even at Watergate. We're like a year out the start of this. And I couldn't get into it. I tried. I think I rewound it like 3 or 4 times. Anyway, I'm just like, this is not for me. It's not interesting. I don't really care. They're putting wigs on and stuff. I don't know. It just, to me, it didn't have a nice spark to it. It didn't have any charm or anything to it.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I would concur with that. There wasn't anything that really stood out to me as being funny. There was definitely one really bad, awkward moment in the first episode, but nothing really grabbed me in this. Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I don't care about this story, and why am I watching this?
It just, if it was a Canadian
kind of a
story and the
letdown.
CBC would have done it, it would have been good.
Maybe it would just have appealed just to
They're
Canadians,
good at
right?
comedy. There's no comedy in it.
Yeah, it was kind of dull,
Yeah.
I guess. Or, I don't know. It wasn't really for me.
No, not for me either.
But
History
apparently
major,
we're in the
I like it.
minority because 3/4 of critics and audiences are enjoying this.
I don't know. I couldn't watch it anymore.
Eh.
I'm like, I'm not wasting my life on this show.
Just wasn't for us. So
No.
I considered going back and rewatching the first 2 episodes. But
So
I'm
I
like,
rewound it a bunch to say maybe
No.
I'm missing something.
No.
Nope.
But maybe if I shouldn't have to do that. If this show doesn't grab me in the first 2 episodes, why should I invest more of my time?
Well,
So
that's kind of how I felt.
that's
too.
why I'm tapping out. Now,
Yeah.
apparently we're in the minority, so if you have a different opinion on White House Plumbers, which is still airing on HBO, let us know down in the comments below. What do you like about it? Maybe for you it's hilarious,
I
because
think-
comedy's very
To me,
subjective.
it was a misuse of Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's just me. Dear, it's now time for another episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Another one.
Oh yes. So
Is this a good one?
I asked you if you would come and join me yesterday to watch Season 2, Episode 2 is called Initiations, and you were busy.
Yeah.
You missed out. This one was really fun and ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? It didn't start out that way. It starts out Chakotay, okay?
Well, that's why you liked it so much, because
Yeah.
he's your man.
This was a Chakotay episode, but it starts off with him and he's on a shuttle and it's his personal log, so he's doing the narration and he's been given permission to use the shuttle, so I guess the ship is just waiting for him somewhere else. And he's gone off to do his
Not in any hurry.
his another spiritual quest. So immediately,
Oh, I
my
remember him going on
goodness.
these spiritual quests, and he goes to planets and has like campfires and stuff.
Yeah, so luckily it's not one of his Vision Quest stories, because those are
I do remember
boring.
those.
No, what happens is he's out just hanging out doing his ritual. Okay, let him do his religious practices. That's cool, but I don't need to see it because it's boring. What happens? Who shows up?
Ooh.
The poor man's Klingons, the Kazon.
Oh, those they totally. It's like poking a wasp nest in the first.
So the
episode.
Kazons have this giant ship, right?
Right.
And
for some
so
reason they couldn't get off that planet they were stuck on in the first episode.
no, they couldn't get water for
They
some
couldn't
reason.
get any water.
What's going on?
It made no sense.
Yeah, well, apparently there's different sects of the Kazon, and they don't all get along. Different clans, let's say.
Oh.
So this clan decides, hey, the kid, it's time for him to earn his name, because they don't get their real name until they actually kill someone in battle, or if they die in battle.
Oh, so they picked.
Okay, so the kid, this 13-year-old kid,
Right.
what's his name there? It's like Craig or something, because he doesn't have a real name. He has to go, they send him out in a small, like their version of a shuttle. He's got to go
Right.
kill Chakotay.
How did they knew Chakotay was there, I suppose.
Well, they knew the shuttle was there, so they're
Oh.
like, hey, shuttle's by
He
itself.
could have been,
We
like,
hate the
old man.
Federation. They're going to send
Right.
this kid Craig to go kill him. Okay? And he
Jeez.
has to earn his name. So it's initiation.
No,
So
we
the
have
kid
to kill an animal.
So the kid goes out and he's like, I'm going to kill you. And Chakotay's just like, what are you doing, kid? No, you're not my enemy. I don't need to fight you. I'm not going to fight a kid.
You just play dead.
But the kid keeps firing on him.
Oh.
So he's going to do some fancy maneuvers. Now, this is 95. It wasn't very good. So they do like the slowest loop-de-loop in the history of space fighting. And then he shoots on him and, destroys his engines. And
Oh, they're doing this in space. I thought they were doing this on a planet.
it's a shuttle. I told you, it's shuttles.
Well, I thought they landed on a planet.
they're in space.
Okay.
They're in a firefight. He does
Oh.
the slowest loop-de-loop in the shuttle.
Okay.
Shoots at him. Oh no, the ship's gonna blow up. Beams the kid over. He's knocked out. Ship blows up.
Right.
Ties up the kid. Kid gets up. What does he do? Try to keep killing him, right?
Him or something. Yeah.
And so fine. And Chakotay's just not having it. He just keeps pushing him back, right? It's like, come on,
Right.
this is wasting my time. And then finally push him down. He's like, I accept your surrender. It's like, I
Right.
don't got time for this nonsense, okay?
Right. Let me get to my relaxation time in the void of space.
Okay? So then the Kazon come in. and shoot at him. Okay? Actually, they take him prisoner.
Oh.
Yep. They take him prisoner. But Chakotay, he's not having that. He's like, I'm just going to escape. Okay? They do the dumbest thing. They bring him in and they're like, so this kid was supposed to kill you, who's 13, was supposed to kill you, but now you can kill him. So they give him a weapon.
What?
So he takes the captain hostage. Like, these guys aren't dumb.
Too smart.
These guys
they
are
were
dumb.
stuck on that planet. They had a ship and yet they couldn't find any water. Like,
yeah, they're pretty dumb. And we know the Voyager crew is the D team, right? They're not the crew that got to the Enterprise. They're not the crew that gets to Deep Space Nine. They're not good enough to hang out at Earth. We're like, let's send these idiots off on Voyager,
like
right?
California class.
So him, and he convinces the kid to help him escape.
Right.
So they escape, and they're on this planet. Oh, they're on a moon, but
so
it's
he's
M-class.
taking the child away from his community.
But the kid's already shunned by the community.
Isn't that part of their, whatever,
no.
They're not supposed
to. The kid is already shunned by the community. He's now a leper to them.
Okay.
Because he failed to...
So is he joining the crew?
No. Meanwhile, while this is happening, all the other crew members get like a guest spot, okay? The doctor pops up at one point, they're having a meeting with all the senior people, except Chakotay, and the doctor's on the screen saying, hey, I'm analyzing this stuff, right? Because the Kazon blow up Chakotay's shuttle. Meanwhile, Voyager tracks it down. They're like, oh, the shuttle's here. So they have to examine it to see if Chakotay was in there when it blew up. Right. So they get the doctor to do it. Does that make sense?
No science officer.
That doesn't make any sense. So they just beam all the debris into the shuttle bay, and he's like got this crap everywhere. He has to analyze it. So they're having this meeting with all the other senior officers, and guess who's there?
Yes.
Neelix's office. Neelix, the morale officer, and Cass.
Again, they just found these people on the side of the road and said, come be our president.
Yeah. So they track down, okay, but the Kazon ship is gone, and then they decide, okay, we might have lost Chakotay, let's go down and hopefully we'll get him, right? We'll beam down to the surface. So, who we're gonna send? Janeway's going, of course, you gotta send the captain.
To an unknown planet.
Okay, then you gotta take Tuvok, the third in command.
Officer.
So you could already lose the three highest officers.
And did they take an ensign with them? Because he's a goner.
And then for some reason they took Cass.
Oh, and she wasn't a goner.
And Ensign Ricky.
The goner.
Okay, so, oh no, someone could be dead. Hopefully it's Cass, but we don't know. And who's in charge of the ship? Tom Paris.
The criminal.
Yeah, the ex-con
have poor judgment.
is in charge, but who else gets to be on the bridge to help out? Neelix.
Oh, because she's so good at that stuff.
So Neelix is sitting in the XO chair.
It makes no sense. Could they not hire enough actors for this show?
So while they're down on the moon, on the M-class moon, which I haven't told you what's really going on there yet.
Oh, okay.
Tom Paris is in charge, and the Kalon come back, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna kill you guys."
Right.
And you know who convinces them to stop? Neelix. Neelix is giving them a hard time because he knows all their customs. This is so dumb.
They don't like Neelix. We already found that out before.
Anyway, essentially the Kazon who's left in charge is bluffing. Right. Oh, sorry, no, this is the captain. He keeps bluffing, and Neelix keeps calling him out on his BS. So what happens is the Kazon go and team up with the away team, and to go and find Chakotay and the lost kid.
So they go together.
So anyway, they've been down on this planet. This isn't a normal moon or planet, right? No. This belongs to the Kazon.
Right.
Which is why they went after Chakotay, because this is their territory. And he's like, no one showed us. No, listen. No one showed us this was Kazon territory. And the captain's just like, it changes whenever we want it to. So wherever they go, they just take over, right? So this guy's just being a dick. Anyway, so they're down there, and this is one of their training planets for all the kids that have to survive this planet.
Oh.
Okay? And there's all these booby traps everywhere, right? But the kid helps Chakotay get around it.
Right.
In the end, the Kazon team up with Janeway and her extended mission, with Ensign Ricky and Cass and Tuvok.
Yeah.
But they're being really nice to them. And so they just team up. They're like, cool, right?
Nice to them in the beginning, and then they wouldn't have a
the
problem.
The Kazon who hate them, who are at war with them, are being super nice to them and learning from them. And then they double cross them. Big surprise.
But if they would have been nice to the Kazon in the first episode, they wouldn't have this issue. They were real dicks to them.
Yeah. So Chakotay's trying to help the kid earn his name so he can go back with his people. And he does the dumbest thing because at one point they have to stay overnight and get some rest. So Chakotay's like, let's get some rest. And just falls asleep right away. With this kid who keeps saying he wants to kill him.
Plus,
they both got weapons.
There's animals or whatever.
They both got weapons. So he just goes right to sleep. And the kid's got a weapon and he wants to kill him.
He's confident in his abilities.
So the kid actually goes to do it and steal his tricorder, which he set up to send out a homing signal.
Anyway, those tricorders.
Anyway, but he doesn't go through with it. And then we learn Chakotay, he was just faking it. He's like, I had my eye on you the whole time. But if he did, he's like, I knew you wouldn't go through with it. That's a pretty big risk to take, buddy. Because the kids, you could just shot you and left.
Kids are so unpredictable. Anyway, it sounds like a bit wacky. In the end, the Kazon double cross him, the ensign gets killed.
No. Ensign Ricky lives this time.
Oh my gosh!
It's like the first time in Star Trek history Ensign Ricky lives. Because the previous guy died. The previous guy had shown up for a couple of episodes and then they killed him that guy taking off his face. Those leper aliens.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy, the Kazon double-crossed Janeway in that. So the kid who has a weapon ends up killing this captain who's a dick.
Oh.
And the Kazon are like, hey, he earned his name, let's go. And the kid's like, next time we see you, I'm going to have to kill you.
Right.
Because Federation, they hate the Federation so much.
They weren't very nice to them. They abandoned them on the planet. Neelix went and started shooting at them, and I don't know.
And
just lame.
But they did give them lots of water. Then they shot it.
They weren't very nice to them. Anyway.
Okay. Also, they got Seska with them, who could be spraying all kinds of propaganda about them.
Yes.
Okay. We haven't seen her back yet. So that was another fun episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. You missed out on that one there, dear.
Sounds like I really missed out.
Next, we're going to move into our comments. But first, how can people get in touch with us, Christine?
Okay, they can email us. CanadaMovieTVHosers@gmail.com. You can suggest anything you want us to talk about, shows you like, whatever. You can also find us on Twitter, if you still use Twitter, @CanadaHosers. And you can find Gregory at St. John's Critic. And if you want to get our attention, you can use the hashtag CanadaHosers. And we encourage you to like our video with a thumbs up. And subscribe if you're like what you hear today.
Yeah, because we're posting new stuff all the time, but not everyone likes it. We did get a bunch of comments from nice people.
Okay.
So our friend Linda Magagula, sent a... Anyway, where's she from? I want to know. Let us know where you're from, Linda. What part of the world you're in? She commented saying, I am so excited about Extraction 2 and Mission Impossible.
She likes the action.
Yeah, sounds like it. Because she was commenting before that she was looking forward to Fubar, which just came out that I haven't got a chance to look at yet. I hope both those movies are good and that you enjoy them. I hope I enjoy them too, because I'm going to see them. It's just, I've been burned, those Mission Impossible movies.
I like them more than you.
Yeah, I guess. So I hope they're really good and that everyone likes them. So thanks a lot for the comment, Linda.
Thank you.
Mark, our good friend Mark Bigelow, commented on one of your Harry Potter segments.
Yes.
Said, Fluffy taking nap time seriously, laughing emoji. I didn't see the last Harry Potter movie. I did find the others entertaining. So he enjoyed them.
Yeah, watch the last one because it all comes together.
I hope it's good. I mean, it's kind of got a low bar for me, but I'm glad you enjoyed those movies. They're not really for me.
She sleeps when we're watching them too. Usually on your lap or on my feet.
I've been let down by this franchise, but anyway, that's just me. If you enjoy Harry Potter, let us know down in the comments below. Thanks for the comment, Mark. And then we got a comment from Stephen Harsano when we did our trailer reaction to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Oh, yes.
He said just one word, let's we all hope Rebecca Ferguson's Ilsa Faust character not be killed off in these upcoming Mission Impossible films. What was the one word? The key scene in the desert and especially the Venice Bridge scene make us worry. Okay, is she a really important character? Because
I don't know. We have to get. I think that's our next franchise. We do have to watch them because I can't remember half of them.
No, I don't really want to watch Mission Impossible movies.
I'd much rather than Fast and the Furious.
Anyway, if you enjoy them, I think that's great. And so apparently Rebecca Ferguson's character is really important. So
And
we gotta hope
may
that
or
she
may
lives.
not make it.
I'll hope for that, Mark, even though I have no idea why she's important. But let us know if you know why her character is important. Anyway, thanks for the message there, Stephen. And then I got a couple messages from Anani Mouse, who's commenting on our Chakotay's episode, Chakotay's Odyssey.
They're a Voyager fan.
The season 1 finale, episode 16.
Right, which wasn't really a finale kind of.
No, but it was really funny. I recommend
Right.
checking it out. And I recommend checking it out. And he responded by saying, not if it's another one of them pratty on about his flippin' vision quest. There was no vision quest in that episode.
We haven't seen a Vision Quest yet, though.
We saw Janeway doing that, and she met her spirit animal.
Oh.
You didn't see it,
No,
but I told
didn't see
you
it.
about
But I
it.
do remember Chakotay going to places with campfires and doing vision quests. I do recall that from Voyager.
I responded to him that, and I'm like, there was none of that, so I recommend checking it out. And he replied, I'll give it a go then. Cheers. So hopefully you enjoyed that one episode. The final episode 16 for season 1. I had a fun time with it. I think you should check it out and let us know if you enjoy it.
In the summer, I can watch these things, so I have more time.
Okay. So thanks for the comment there, of 2 comments there, Anani Mouse. We always appreciate getting nice comments from everyone. And I think that's about it. So we're going to wrap up for today. As Christine said, go ahead and give us the thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Take care. Is potato.